Hello guys, so my name's Liam. Today we're going to be taking a look at gross domestic product, or GDP for short, with a focus on GDP per capita and its implications. So we're going to jump right into two quick definitions here, one of which is GDP itself. So GDP is an economic activity measurement that includes all final goods and services produced and provided within a country during a given time period, which is usually a year. Consumption, investment, government purchases, and net exports are all wrapped into this equation. And then once we have GDP, we can get GDP per capita, which is essentially just GDP per person. So you're just dividing GDP by the amount of people in the country. GDP per capita is sort of a reflection of the average person's income and spending power in a country. And because of that fact, it's often used to try and draw conclusions about economic well-being. Despite how often it's used, it does struggle quite a bit due to many limitations and potential misinterpretations. Some of which I've listed here. So leisure time, the fact that GDP per capita, GDP don't include work-life balance is a problem. It doesn't consider non-market activities, so volunteering or in-house work are excluded. State of the environment is not considered, so water and air pollution could be an issue but not included. Social issues are also omitted, so crime rates, substance abuse, family stability, inequality of wealth or income as well is not included in the calculation, despite being quite a big factor. And then we're going to look at a real-world example of these factors. So I've chosen Hong Kong for an example of where GDP per capita doesn't equate to a high quality of life. So despite Hong Kong being a sort of economic powerhouse that's often among the top of the world in GDP per capita, it often struggles in quality of life indexes. So this is a discrepancy that we're going to look into a little bit more. I've chosen three factors from the previous slide. So we're going to look at leisure time, inequality, and state of the environment. So leisure time in Hong Kong, while production may be high, Hong Kong citizens often struggle to achieve a satisfying work-life balance, which results in stress, decreases economic well-being. Inequality is also an issue in Hong Kong, more so recently. It's increasingly large, which is obviously another source of stress. Poverty levels, all of these are not included in the calculation but affect economic well-being. And then state of the environment is a pretty well-known one for Hong Kong as well. It suffers from a high level of air pollution, which results in poor air quality. Noise and light pollution are also an issue within the city. But all of these are kind of not included in the GDP calculation. You can see a case can be made for each one of them that they're pretty significant in economic well-being. So this lack of representation in the calculation is exactly why GDP per capita is not exactly reliable and often considered with a grain of salt when we're dealing with economic well-being. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Here are my references. Thanks guys, bye.